Morning everyone! I thought that I would share with you my morning routine and the sort of products that I use every single day to get ready. It's quite simple, nothing groundbreaking. As a makeup artist you might be surprised how few steps there are and how simple it is, the kind of basic products that I use, but it's just the sort of little tweaks that I use every day to catfish the world into thinking that I am reasonable enough to be allowed outside my house. So I hope you enjoy the video and we'll just get straight into the tutorial. Okay, so now you are all zoomed up, close and personal in my face. So the first thing that I do when I get out of the shower is I moisturise and I put on eye cream. As I mentioned before, I've got super sensitive skin, so the one product that I use every single time is a Toleriane Ultra Fluide from Roche-Posay. I have already moisturised this morning, but I'm going to put a bit extra on because I'm feeling so dry. So I'm not really as gentle as I am on many other people. So for my clients, for example, I should be and am much more gentle, but I'm happy to, I'm happy to be a little bit more rough with my face because I know exactly how I feel. I try and do the whole upwards and outwards motion thing, but let's be honest, I forget most of the time. I'm in a rush and I just try and get it on my face. I'm quite reactive, so if I go red at any point, don't worry, that is completely normal for me. I then follow it up with my Henrikson Banana Bright Eye Cream. I've talked about this 1,000 times as well in my most recent video. I'm obsessed with this product and I'm just popping it on liberally underneath my eyes. So this, I feel, really brightens the area and also gives a slight sheen around the eyes, which catches for me on the high points. I'm not looking to be highlighted per se, I'm just looking to have like sheeny, glowy skin. Nothing that reads really like makeup, just something that's really healthy skin. It's really important to let that step sink into the skin, so I do like to give it a little bit of time. If I have it in the morning, I'll just sit around, have a cup of tea. I always make sure I have a bottle of water with me in the morning because I want to be hydrated. So Weleda gave me this little refillable bottle, one trip, so I try and chug my way through this to start my morning right. I also use my Nivea Original Care Lip Balm. It's the only lip balm that works for me. Basic as hell, and I could choose any of the expensive products out there, the ones that I've got in my kit, the ones that are gifted to me, still go back to this. Really, really like it. Perfect. So the aim of the game is male grooming. I'm not looking to give myself a totally perfected, made up look. I'm just looking to try and, trick the eye into thinking that I look slightly better than I do on a regular day. So mainly the only product I use is concealer. I've used the Studio Finish Concealer. This is an NC20, that's my winter colour. I go up to an NC25 during summer, but barely. As you can see, it's really well used, and I basically spot conceal all over my face. So any little place I see a blemish, I will use, what have we got here? The 238 Precise Shader from Zoeva, and I basically just go straight into the pot, and then I look around for any areas where I see a little red blemish or dot. Sometimes if there's like a freckle that I'm not so keen on, that maybe looks a little bit more like a blemish, I will go over and I will literally cover my entire face. This way I kind of get coverage all over without actually making it look, like full coverage or anything, because this concealer is fairly hefty, but I sheer it out with my hands, as you'll see. Now, I know it's pretty strange, but I tend to go in a couple of different times doing this. So the first sort of way around, as you can see me now, I just dot on blemishes or freckles or whatever over most of the face. And then after that, once I've blended all this in, I go around my nose and then do the redness there. I find that makeup catches around my nose so easily, so I have to be really, really careful. It's basically almost like doing lots of little layers. So at this point, I just go in and I use my fingers just to blend the concealer right in. And this is literally catfishing the entire world because you do get coverage over the little areas that you need it, but it doesn't look like you're really wearing any makeup. If I rub away any of this, like too much, I can go back in really quickly and just touch it up. But it's just that sort of like general, a little general bit of wakefulness that makes people think that it won't make people think that you're like perfect or that you've got the best skin on the planet, but what it does is it makes you look like you're not wearing any makeup and you've got pretty damn good skin anyway. Just dabbing this in with the warmth of my finger. I find that the warmth of my finger works better because I am achingly dry. I don't want to like buff or anything because that actually causes micro exfoliation with my skin. Like you'll actually see dry flakes on my skin. So I just use my fingers and keep blending until I am happy. The one thing I wanted to mention is that actually for under my eyes, I don't really do anything. That's a personal preference. I sometimes find that when guys put like concealer or highlight or anything under the eyes, that it looks a bit eerie, spooky, weird child. So I don't have a huge amount of darkness under there. I don't really need to put product under there, so I'm just not going to do it. A little bit of shadow will just make me look more natural, which is totally the vibe. So powder, Rimmel Stay Matte. I do pack the brush up because I have quite big pores, and I really just pounce it all into my face, mainly down the centre. I do like to keep the sheen on the sides of my cheeks, but basically wherever I've got pores, I'm pounding this into my face, and then also swirling and buffing, which kind of creates this sort of porcelain effect. I do start to look a bit dry to begin with. However, the next step, which is my spray, is what's going to bring the skin back to life, and that's Pixi. Oh, the Vitamin Wake Up Mist, talked about it again. You've already seen this, talked about it in my skincare favourites. I use this mist every single day of my life, myself and clients, and I drench my face in this, and I'm serious about it. I drench my face. Ooh. The more I put on, the more my skin sort of, the powder melts into my skin, but it's filled up my pores, it smoothed me out, so when this dries down, I still get a bit of sheen, but obviously I won't be completely soaking wet like I am right now. Alright, so now it's brows time. I'm a powder brows kind of guy. I use powder eyeshadow in my eyebrows every single day, and I think the eyebrows are kind of what makes the biggest difference on my face. I've got a little MAC palette that I've made for myself here, which is Omega and then Mystery, I think it is, and I mix these two colours together to custom blend sort of the shade for my eyebrows, and I really ruffle the product into my brows with an angled brush from Ecotools. So let's see if I can do this on camera. Basically, I map out the shape a bit. This is my troublesome eyebrow, but I map out the shape a bit, and as you can see, I'm just really smushing it into the brow. Along the bottom, I do like to define a little bit. Upward strokes every now and again, and then bring up the shape at the outer corner, because I think when I lift the shape up on the top, it kind of draws my eyes up. I do have downturned eyes, so I'm always looking to bring my eyes up and give them sort of a more awake appearance. So yeah, messily ruffling through my brows like this, and keeping on checking the shape. I like to check the shape from a distance. I've got a mirror over there. I don't like doing makeup close up in a mirror because you don't know what it's going to look like from the distance people are going to see you. So I look quite far away. I've got a mirror there, and sorry I'm not really looking at the camera, but hey, this is the way it's going to be. I dab in this area here, and then I've got my eyebrow spoolie, and I brush it up to just check where I'm at. Okay, so I'll show you again on the other eye what I'm doing. This one, again, I do slightly differently, just because the brow hairs grow slightly differently. So I start in always, for me personally, always at the top to just reinforce that top line there. I then do come in and bring myself an actual base to my eyebrow, and this will be blended in, don't worry. But for this one, I flick up from the base just to reinforce that right there. If you're messing up, you can use your finger. This is just hodgepodge at the moment, as you can probably see. But yeah, I really do quite like to take my brows dark at the moment. I just think that it suits my hair better. When I have just freshly dyed my eyebrows, then I don't have to go in quite as heavy as I do, or as I am today, because it makes all the difference. But for now, I'm just going to go in heavy on the powders. The next step, which I think transforms them from the kind of like slugs that are just sitting on my head, is brow gel. So I use a clear mascara, and it's from Collection. It's the Colour Lash All Day Wear. So basically, I just brush all my hairs up and basically groom them to look more fluffy. And I think this is a huge step for me, because once I've just filled them in, they look really blocky. And when I'm brushing them up and then just pushing down so that they all sit in the right direction, I think some of the colour comes off, first of all, which is really handy on the brush. It's kind of a bit gross in the container. So yeah, some of the colour comes off, but it just gives them a slightly more natural, I don't know, I don't want to say natural because they're clearly not natural, but a slightly more natural look anyway, because the definition comes back in terms of the hairs. But if you have a little look at that, they look nice and fluffy and bushy, and that's kind of the vibe I like for my eyebrows on the daily. If you're not aware of this step, you have no idea who I am at all, and you've never met me before, but it's eyelash curling. I do this every single day of my life. I will happily get up, go to the gym, obviously not in Corona times, but get up, go to the gym and not put a stitch of makeup on. I won't do my hair, but I will curl my eyelashes. I took these up a mountain one time to get up at 3 a.m. to go and see a sunrise. Curled my eyelashes, you better be sure. My favourite ones are from Shuimura. You can't get them in the UK anymore unless you import them. I can put a link down below if anybody even wants to know of where to get them. They come from Hong Kong. Maybe not in these times, but who knows. I think this transforms my face. It just takes my eyelashes from, you know, pointing straight out to pointing straight up. Opens the eyes, frames them, makes them look hella more awake. I've not done this on camera before, but I get really close to the root of the lash and I'm pinching right up, and it just changes my eyes completely. As soon as this happens, I feel infinitely more attractive, so hence why I do it before the gym as well. Yeah, sometimes I just need to go in once, sometimes do it multiple times. And people always ask me if it's dangerous to do this every single day or if it's bad for the lashes. I've been doing this every single day for years, I want to say 10 years, and my lashes are doing fine. Doesn't mean it'll be the same for you, but if you get a good quality lash curler, you shouldn't really have any problems. But can you just see the difference that makes? It's so subtle, it's almost imperceivable, and maybe the detail on the camera won't even show it, but when you're looking at me face to face, I just look way more fresh, way more awake, and I absolutely love the finish. Okay, so here it is. This is my finished look. Barely their makeup, just slight fine tunes to kind of bring a little bit more harmony and a little bit more joy to my face, let's call it that. Makes me look a little bit more awake and fresh and ready to see the day. I like this as my little ritual every morning to just get ready. It's not a lot. I don't have to put it on, but it just makes me feel a whole lot better if I do. I feel like I am catfishing though, because my skin does look a lot better. I don't know how it's coming across on camera, but I certainly feel like $1,000,000. So if you have any questions, let me know. Yeah, and if you have any ideas for other videos, please do tell me. I'd be more than happy to make them, as long as I don't have to do makeup on anybody else, because how could I get anyone in coronavirus? Thanks guys, see you all again soon. Bye.